Once again, my name is Ryan Wagner. I'm the PR communicator for the City of Dallas Department of Public Works. Just to let everyone know, for those who are in the meeting, we do ask that you keep yourselves muted as staff goes through and introduces themselves, and also stay muted during the presentation. If you're on desktop or mobile devices, once again, you can hit that mute button that should be visible for you. And if you are on a conference call number, you can mute or unmute yourself by pressing *6. And once we've completed the presentation, we'll move into an open Q&A where we'll answer as many questions as we can during the meeting's time frame. So with that, we'll go ahead and turn it over to Tanya.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Tanya Lane, Assistant City Engineer for the City of Dallas Department of Public Works, and we're here today for the Cheyenne Road Public Meeting. Presenting today, along with myself, will be Bernard D'Souza, and additionally, other city staff will be available during the Q&A session. Go ahead, Luis.
Buenas noches, yo me llamo Luis Ulloa, con el Departamento de Public Works de la ciudad de Dallas, y voy a estar traduciendo el proyecto de Cheyenne de inglés a español. Next slide.
Please note that we're recording this meeting. Instead of a sign-in sheet, we're recording everyone's name that we can see for the official meeting record. For those of you that called in, and that we can only see your phone number for, I would ask that you state your name for the record, stating the number, and then please state your name.
And I'll just go ahead and take charge on that and go number by number. It looks like we only have 3 conference call-ins here. So last 4 digits, 2022. If you could unmute yourself with *6 and state your name for the record.
Yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
My name's George Ferguson.
George, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Up next, I see last 4 digits, 7765. If you could unmute with *6 and state your name for the record. Oh, you're unmuted for just a second, then it went right back to mute. So if you could do that one more time.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. First name is Rhonda, and the last name is B like boy, O-U, double T like Tom, E like Edward.
Thank you, Rhonda.
You're welcome.
And if y'all would, those who just did, go ahead and hit *6 again to mute yourself, so that way we're not getting any background noise during the presentation. Thank you. And then the last number I see is a 1142. If you go ahead and state your name for the record. Oh, sorry about that. It seems that you may have muted yourself there.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Barbara Riley.
Thank you, Barbara. And Tanya, that's all of the numbers I see, so you can go ahead.
Okay. Tonight we have our Councilman Jaime Resendez present with us. We also have several city staff present today, including Robert Perez, Director of Department of Public Works, Haitham Hassan, Assistant City Engineer in the Department of Public Works, Took Pham, Senior Engineer and Project Manager, Department of Public Works. Additionally, we have staff from the city's Transportation Department present. Kimberly Smith, Senior Transportation Planner, Department of Transportation is present. And then we have our consultant, Burgess and Nipel. The consultant for the project is present as well.
Esta noche tenemos a nuestro concejal Jaime Reséndez presente con nosotros. También tenemos a varios empleados de la ciudad presente y también está presente personal del Departamento de Transportación. Incluso nos acompaña Burgess y Nico, que es el consultor de diseño para el proyecto. Next slide.
Please submit all questions and comments via the chat box. Questions will be reviewed by our team and answered during the open Q&A. If a more detailed response is required, a response will be provided within 30 days of receipt. If you called into this meeting and wish to submit questions or comments, please email tuc.fam@dallascityhall.com, and that's tuc, THUC.fam, PHAM, @dallascityhall.com, or Ryan Wagner at ryan.wagner@dallascityhall.com. And that email is ryan.wagner@dallascityhall.com.
Preguntas y respuestas. Envíe todas las preguntas y comentarios a través del cuadro de chat. Las preguntas serán revisadas por nuestro equipo y respondidas durante la sesión abierta de preguntas y respuestas. Si se requiere una respuesta más detallada, se proporcionará una respuesta dentro de los 30 días posteriores a la recepción. Si ha llamado a esta reunión y desearía enviar preguntas o comentarios, envíe un correo electrónico a tucfam, a tuc.fam@dallascityhall.com. Eso es THUC.PHAM @dallascityhall.com, o las puede enviar a Ryan Wagner a ryan.wagner@dallascityhall.com. Eso es RYAN.WAGNER@dallascityhall.com. Next slide.
For today's meeting agenda, first we will discuss the project purpose. Second, we will discuss the project overview. Then we will discuss the project timeline and community engagement to date. Next, we will discuss the community priorities. Then we will discuss the proposed typical sections and project schedule. And last, we will end with staff contact information and an opportunity for questions.
La agenda de hoy día es propósito del proyecto, descripción del proyecto, cronograma del proyecto, participación comunitaria, prioridades de la comunidad, secciones típicas propuesta y contactos del personal. Next slide.
The purpose of this project is to improve safety for all modes of transportation, including vehicle traffic and pedestrians. Walkability will be improved by providing sidewalks and accessible ramps at street intersection crossings throughout the corridor. Drainage will be improved by providing storm inlets and storm pipes along the corridor. The light fixtures will be upgraded with LED lights mounted on new light poles throughout the corridor. This improved lighting will greatly enhance safety and visibility for pedestrians. The project will also include the replacement of water and wastewater pipes from Big Thicket Drive to Lake June Road. The water and wastewater pipes between Elam Road and Big Thicket Road have already been upgraded. The pictures below show the narrow turning radius at the intersection at Lake June Road on the left and Elam Road on the right. The radius of the turns and widths of these lanes will be upgraded to ensure that DART and school buses are able to navigate these turns easily.
Propósito del proyecto. El propósito de este proyecto es mejorar la seguridad para todos los modos de transporte, incluido el tráfico de vehículos y peatones. Se mejorará la transitabilidad de proporcionar aceras y rampas accesibles en los cruces de intersecciones de calle a lo largo del corredor. El drenaje se mejorará y proporcionará entradas de tormenta y tuberías de tormenta a lo largo del corredor. Los artefactos de iluminación se actualizarán con luces LED montadas en nuevos postes de luz en toda la calle. Esta iluminación mejorará enormemente la seguridad y visibilidad de los peatones. El proyecto también incluirá reemplazos de tuberías de aguas y aguas residuales de Big Thicket Drive hasta Lake June Road. Las tuberías de agua y aguas residuales entre Elam Road y Big Thicket Drive ya se han mejorado. Las imágenes a continuación muestran el radio de giro estrecho en la intersección en Lake June Road a la izquierda y Elam Road a la derecha. El radio de los giros y los anchos de estos carriles se actualizarían para garantizar que DART y los autobuses escolares puedan navegar estos giros fácilmente. Next slide.
This project is located within the City of Dallas Council District 5. The limits of the project are along Cheyenne Road from Elam Road to Lake June Road. The estimated project cost is $11.6 million. This project is being funded by the 2017 City of Dallas Bond Program. The thoroughfare improvements for the project includes sidewalks, curb and gutter, reinforced concrete pavement, and storm drainage improvements.
Este proyecto está ubicado dentro del Distrito 5 del Consejo de la Ciudad de Dallas. Los límites del proyecto están a lo largo de Cheyenne Road, desde Elam Road hasta Lake June Road. El costo estimado del proyecto es de $11.6 millones. Este proyecto está siendo financiado por el programa de bonos de la Ciudad de Dallas de 2017. Las mejoras a la vía pública para el proyecto incluyen aceras y cunetas y calles pavimentadas. Next slide.
From a community engagement standpoint, we sent notifications by mail in September 2019 to gather input from residents, the school, and businesses along the Cheyenne Road corridor. The City Plan Commission public hearing was held on November 7, 2019. We had a City Council public hearing on December 11, 2019. We had a meeting with the middle school officials on January 22, 2020. Additionally, the Thoroughfare Plan Amendment was approved on December 11, 2019, with a change in dimensional classification of Cheyenne Road from Elam Road to Lake June Road from a 2-lane undivided roadway and 56 feet of right-of-way to a special 2-lane undivided roadway and 60 feet of right-of-way. And with that, I will turn it over to Bernard, and he will talk about the community priorities and the proposed design.
Desde el punto de vista de la participación de la comunidad, enviamos notificaciones por correo en septiembre del 2019 para recopilar comentarios de los residentes, la escuela y las empresas a lo largo del corredor de Cheyenne Road. La audiencia pública de la Comisión de Plan de la ciudad se llevó a cabo el 7 de noviembre del 2019. Tuvimos una audiencia pública en el Consejo Municipal el 11 de diciembre de 2019. Tuvimos una reunión con los funcionarios de la escuela secundaria el 22 de enero del 2020. Adicionalmente, la enmienda del plan de la vía pública fue aprobada el 11 de diciembre del 2019. Con el cambio en la clasificación dimensional de Cheyenne Road de Elam Road a Lake June Road, de una carretera no dividida de 2 carriles en 56 pies de derecho de paso a una calzada no dividida especial de 2 carriles en 60 pies de derecho de paso. Con esto ahora se lo pasamos a Bernard y él hablará sobre las prioridades de la comunidad y el diseño propuesto. Next slide.
Based on input from the community, we identified the following priorities for Cheyenne Road. Sidewalks needed to be provided to improve walkability to the corridor. We will explore shared use paths on the east side of the roadway to accommodate bikes. Drainage along the entire corridor needs to be improved. There were concerns about on-street parking during drop-off and pickup of students at the middle school. To solve this issue, parking areas will be provided from Cheyenne Park to Addy Road. There were concerns about speeding and the need for traffic calming along the corridor. We will likely be able to install speed cushions within the project limits from Elam Road to Lake June Road. However, we must obtain fire department approval before we are sure whether the devices can be installed, as there are possible impacts to emergency response time. The need for safety of pedestrians at intersections was cited as a priority. The need for travel lane improvements due to bottlenecks at intersections by providing left and right turn lanes at Lake June Road and Elam Road.
Prioridades de la comunidad para Cheyenne. Basándonos en los comentarios de la comunidad, identificamos las siguientes prioridades para Cheyenne Road. Será necesario proporcionar aceras para mejorar la transitabilidad hacia el corredor. Exploramos senderos de una compartido en el lado oeste de la carretera para acomodar bicicletas. Será necesario mejorar el drenaje a lo largo de todo el corredor. Hubo inquietudes sobre el estacionamiento en la calle durante la entrega y recogida de los estudiantes en la escuela intermedia. Para resolver estos problemas, se proporcionará áreas de estacionamientos desde Cheyenne Park hasta Addy Road. Había preocupaciones sobre el exceso de velocidad y la necesidad de que el tráfico se calmara a lo largo del corredor. Es probable de que podamos instalar amortiguadores de velocidad dentro de los límites del proyecto desde Elam Road hasta Lake June Road. Sin embargo, debemos obtener la aprobación del Departamento de Bomberos antes de estar seguros de si los dispositivos se pueden instalar, ya que existen posibles impactos en el tiempo de respuestas ante emergencias. El sitio como una prioridad de la necesidad de seguridad de los peatones en las intersecciones, la necesidad de mejorar los carriles de circulación debido a los cuellos de botella en la intersección, a proporcionar carriles de giro a la izquierda y a la derecha en Lake June Road y Elam Road. Next slide.
The proposed typical section at Cheyenne Road consists primarily of two cross-sections along the corridor. The no parking cross-section at the top with the with parking cross-section at the bottom. In the no parking cross-section at the top, the drive lanes are 13 feet wide in both directions. On the west side, which is the left side, there are 6-foot sidewalks with an 8-foot buffer. On the east side, which is the right, the sidewalks are 11 feet maximum with a 3-foot buffer. In the with parking cross-section at the bottom, the drive lanes are 11 feet wide with 8-foot wide parking lanes in both directions. On the west side, which is the left side, there are 6-foot sidewalks. On the east side, which is the right, the sidewalks are 10-foot wide maximum.
La sección típica propuesta en Cheyenne Road consiste principalmente de dos secciones transversales a lo largo del corredor. La sección transversal sin estacionamientos en la parte superior y la sección transversal con estacionamiento en la parte inferior. En la sección transversal de no estacionamiento en la parte superior, los carriles para vehículos tienen 13 pies de ancho en ambas direcciones. En el lado oeste, que es el lado izquierdo, hay aceras de 6 pies con un amortiguador de 8 pies. En el lado este, que es el derecho, las aceras tienen un máximo de 11 pies con un tope de 3 pies. En la sección transversal con estacionamiento, en la parte inferior, los carriles para vehículos tienen 11 pies de anchos con carriles de estacionamiento de 8 pies de ancho en ambas direcciones. En el lado oeste, que es el lado izquierdo, hay aceras de 6 pies. En el lado este, que está a la derecha, las aceras tienen un ancho máximo de 10 pies. Next slide.
As a summary of the proposed typical section, both typical sections include 6-foot sidewalks on the west side, 6 to 11-foot maximum sidewalks on the east side, wider turn lanes at the intersections, DART bus 592 waiting areas on the west side. The no parking typical section includes 8-foot buffer area on the west side, 3-foot buffer area on the east side, 13-foot wide drive lanes. The with parking typical section includes 8-foot wide parallel parking spaces, 11-foot wide drive lanes.
Como resumen de la sección típica propuesta, ambas secciones típicas incluyen aceras de 6 pies en el lado oeste, 6 pies a 11 pies máximo acera en el lado este, carril de giro más ancho en las intersecciones, áreas de espera del bus DART 592 en el lado oeste. La sección típica de no estacionamiento incluye áreas de amortiguación de 8 pies en el lado oeste, áreas de amortiguación de 3 pies en el lado este, carriles para vehículos de 13 pies de ancho. La sección típica con estacionamiento incluye espacio de estacionamiento paralelos de 8 pies de ancho, carriles para vehículos de 11 pies de ancho. Next slide.
The following slides show aerials with different cross-sections overlaid on a plan view from Elam Road all the way to Lake June Road. The proposed concrete pavement is shown in gray. The sidewalks are shown in yellow. In this slide, at the intersection of Elam Road for northbound traffic, we have provided an 18-foot wide turning lane to accommodate bus traffic. For southbound traffic, we have provided a 11-foot wide left turn lane and 11-foot wide right turn lane to prevent traffic bottlenecks during drop-off and pickup times of the school. As we go north from the turn lanes, the section transitions to the no parking cross-section with 6-foot sidewalks on the west and 11-foot sidewalks on the east.
Las siguientes dispositivas muestran antenas con las diferentes secciones transversales superpuestas en una vista en planta desde Elam Road hasta Lake June Road. El pavimento de hormigón propuesto se muestra en gris, las aceras se muestran en amarillo. En esta dispositiva, la intersección de Elam Road para el tráfico en dirección norte, hemos proporcionado un carril de giro de 18 pies de ancho para acomodar el tráfico de autobuses. Para el tráfico en la dirección sur, hemos proporcionado un carril de giro a la izquierda de 11 pies de ancho y un carril de giro a la derecha de 11 pies de ancho para evitar atacos de tráfico durante las horas de regreso y regreso de la escuela. A medio de que avanza, ha sido el norte desde los carriles de giro, la sección cambia a la sección transversal de no estacionamiento, con aceras de 6 pies en el oeste y aceras de 11 pies en el este. Next slide.
In this slide, the typical section transitions from the no parking section to the with parking section south of Cheyenne Park. The 13-foot wide drive lanes transition to 11-foot wide drive lanes, and the 8-foot wide parking lanes are provided on both sides of the street. The parking lanes are shown in hatched red. The sidewalks along the with parking typical section are 6-foot sidewalks on the west and 10-foot sidewalks on the east.
En esta dispositiva, la sección típica cambia de la sección no estacionamiento a la sección con estacionamiento al sur del Parque Cheyenne. Los carriles para vehículos de 13 pies de ancho pasan a carriles para vehículos de 11 pies de ancho y hay carriles de estacionamiento de 8 pies de ancho a ambos lados de la calle. Los carriles de estacionamiento se muestran en rojo sombreado. Las aceras a lo largo de la sección típica con estacionamiento son aceras de 6 pies en el oeste y aceras de 10 pies en el este. Next slide.
In this slide, the typical section remains the same from Cheyenne Park through the school, with 11-foot drive lanes and 8-foot wide parking lanes are provided on both sides of the street. The sidewalks along this section are 6-foot sidewalks on the west and 10-foot sidewalks on the east.
En esta dispositiva, la sección típica sigue siendo la misma desde Cheyenne Park hasta la escuela, con carriles para vehículos de 11 pies de ancho y carriles de estacionamientos de 8 pies de ancho a ambos lados de la calle. Las aceras a lo largo de esta sección son aceras de 6 pies en o el oeste y aceras de 10 pies en el este. Next slide.
In this slide, as we go north from the school, the typical section transitions from the with parking typical section to the no parking typical section just south of Addy Road. The typical section transitions from 11-foot wide drive lanes and 8-foot wide parking lanes to 13-foot wide drive lanes. The sidewalks along the no parking typical section are 6-foot sidewalks on the west and 11-foot sidewalks on the east.
En esta dispositiva, a medida de que avanzamos hacia el norte desde la escuela, la sección típica pasa de la sección típica con estacionamiento a la sección típica no estacionamiento, justo al sur de Addy Road. La sección típica cambia de carriles para vehículos de 11 pies de ancho y carriles de estacionamiento de 8 pies de ancho a carriles para vehículos de 13 pies de ancho. Las aceras a lo largo de la sección típica de no estacionamiento son aceras de 6 pies en el oeste y aceras de 11 pies en el este. Next slide.
In this slide, the street transitions from the no parking typical section to the turn lanes at Lake June Road. At the intersection of Lake June Road, for southbound traffic, we have provided a 18-foot wide turning lane to accommodate bus traffic. For northbound traffic, we have provided a 11-foot wide left turn lane and an 11-foot wide right turn lane to prevent traffic bottlenecks during drop-off and pickup of times of the school.
En esta dispositiva, la sección de no estacionamiento típica sección de carril de giro a Lake June Road, la intersección de Lake June Road hacia el sur, hacia el tráfico del sur, se ha proveído un carril de 18 pies de ancho para acomodar el tráfico de buses. Para el tráfico hacia el norte se ha proveído un carril de 11 pies de ancho para girar a la derecha para prevenir este tráfico durante la dejada en la escuela. Next slide.
From a project schedule standpoint, the overall design was started in March 2019 and is expected to continue till May 2022. The construction is expected to be awarded in November 2022, and construction will commence in December 2022 to end in March 2025. The current status of the project is the design plans are at the 20% design stage. Interdepartmental reviews are ongoing.
El cronograma del proyecto, actualmente el diseño empezó en marzo del 2019 y se espera terminar aproximadamente en mayo del 2022. La construcción se espera ser otorgada noviembre 2022. La construcción se espera empezar diciembre 2022 y se espera completar marzo 2025. Actualmente el proyecto tiene 20% de diseño y está siendo visto por diferentes departamentos de la ciudad. Next slide.
For community feedback, please send your written comments about the project by Friday, May 6th, 2021. You can also send your comments online at the link https://bit.ly/CHEYENNENT0421. If you want to send your responses by regular mail, please send your mail to Department of Public Works, 320 East Jefferson Boulevard, room 321, Dallas, Texas 75203. And attention, Ryan Wagner. Please scan the link, the QR link to the right-hand side of the presentation page to submit your responses if you want it to be done online.
Para comentarios por escrito sobre el proyecto, se van a ser aceptados hasta viernes, mayo 6 del 2021. Por favor, también puede proveer sus comentarios en línea a la siguiente página, bit.ly/CHEYENNENT0421 y también puede mandar por correo al Departamento de Obras Públicas a 320 East Jefferson Boulevard, cuarto 321, Dallas, Texas 75203. Atención, Ryan Wagner. O si quiere, también puede usar el enlace de QR por si quiere mandar sus comentarios de esa forma. Next slide.
Oh, and just sorry, one more thing before we move on that one. On the link for the comment form, it is case sensitive. So after the bit.ly/Cheyenne comment 421, the C's in Cheyenne and comment are both capitalized. So again, that's bit.ly/Cheyenne with a capital C, comment with a capital C, 0421.
por si quieren mandar sus comentarios por correo electrónico, favor de poner atención de que la C es capitalizada, so es bit.ly/C grande HEYENNE C grande OMMENT 0421.
The staff contacts are for this project are Tuk Pham, project manager at the City of Dallas. If you would like to email him, his email address is phuc.pham@dallascityhall.com. His phone number is 214-948-4253. Tanya Lane, who's the assistant city engineer at the City of Dallas, her email address is eawnya.lane@dallascityhall.com, and her phone number is 214-948-4685. Chris Turner Noteware, who's the city engineer at the City of Dallas, her email address is christina.turner@dallascityhall.com. Her phone number is 214-948-4259. That's the technical portion of this project presentation. Ryan Wagner will take over the next part of this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernard. So now we're going to go ahead and move into the just open question and answer portion of the meeting. So to start out, we're going to address questions that are going to be in the chat. And then from after that point, we'll also let folks unmute their mics and speak, either via the conference call number, or if you joined us on desktop or mobile, over that way as well. If you would like to speak on mic and you're on a desktop computer or a mobile device, if you could go ahead and use the raise hand feature, which you can see up in the, should be on your bar as well. That's what it looks like with someone's hand is raised or lowered. That'll let us know if you would like to unmute yourself and speak to make your comment or ask your question. But as I said, we're going to start with questions in the chat first. And I see two from Penny. Thank you, Penny. The first question I see here is, how many parking spaces will there be on each side of the street? And I'm assuming she's referring to the section of the roadway that will have parking available.
As of now, we anticipate, and this is just based on 20% progress on this project. We anticipate about 90 parking spaces, 90, and as of now, we can just split it both ways, 45 on each side. But final numbers will happen only once we get more into design.
And the second question from Penny is, from a traffic calming standpoint, would it be better to have on-street parking and narrow drive lanes, or narrower drive lanes?
The drive lanes right now, which are 11 feet wide, are considered appropriate for this section. And for that reason, we are providing parking only within the stretch of Cheyenne Road to Addy Road. More, the moment you provide wider lanes throughout, that would encourage speeding. But and that's one of the reasons why we are keeping the parking lanes to be of that width.
Gotcha. I see another chat comment here from Barbara, but Barbara, I also see that you're you're with us on desktop as well. So if you wanted to make your comment or ask your question over the mic, now would be a chance to unmute yourself and ask that question or make your comment. If not, I'll go ahead and read off your chat comment if you'd like. Gotcha. I'll go ahead and read that off then. So Barbara just made the comment that something needs to be addressed about the DART bus tearing up the turn area off of Lake June onto Cheyenne. She said that cars have to back up to let the bus come onto Cheyenne because it takes the whole road to make the turn.
We agree that that's the problem, and so for that reason we are widening that turn lane. Right now there are only 2 lanes at that intersection. We are widening that intersection to accommodate a dedicated right turn lane for vehicles coming from Lake June into Cheyenne Road, and the radius also will be improved. So the bus traffic, or that will remain within the pavement itself.
Frida asked if we could again show the picture or the proposed diagram for the project. Frida, to clarify, did you want to see the overlay of the street, or did you want to see just the cross section of the street, the illustration as it was? And okay, gotcha. So again, we'll up on screen, that's the proposed typical section. And we'll linger on that one for just a bit, and then we'll move on to the 2 overlays. And I will say, just for everyone who is on the call, as we said earlier, we are recording the meeting, and we'll make the presentation materials as well as the video materials available for residents after the fact, and we'll provide them to the community via Nextdoor and also to the council member, so he can distribute it to you guys as well. Let's see here. I see a hand raised, gaff55 at att.net. If you go ahead and unmute and make your comments or ask your questions.
Yes, this is George Ferguson. I live on Leota. Anyway, there always seems to be a problem with people coming down our street, flying down our street, trying to miss this intersection right now. And I believe what Barbara is getting to is, I believe that the buses right now could stop a lot of the congestion just by going from south to north on Lake June Road, on Cheyenne Road. That way they'd never have to make an illegal turn at this time. It would stop problems with that intersection. I believe that needs to be addressed now. But in the same sense, what's going to happen when this is under construction? I guess we still got to get to that part of the meeting. I'm not sure. But I'd like to address that at some time, because people fly down our road as it is. And the school was supposed to stop that from happening, and it hasn't. So if this thing gets under construction, where are you going to feed all the traffic? I'm done.
Right now, the bus traffic is going from north to south, and that's something that DART is responsible for. I'm not sure. Someone from the city of Dallas could help me on this. I'm not sure whether we can change the direction of bus traffic along Cheyenne Road.
Good evening. This is Haitham Hassan. I'm with the city of Dallas. So from previous experience, previous projects, we coordinate with DART during the construction phase. it's possible that we can have DART move some of the bus stops and provide some temporary bus stops during construction. That's something we need to discuss during the design phase. But we will make sure that it's brought to their attention. And keep in mind that the project will be built in phases. So that's something that it's kind of early in the design phase to know the answer as of now, but we'll get back with you on that.
Okay. My concern again is they're making an illegal turn as it is now. You would think somehow this would get worked out before the project.
I need to understand more about the illegal turn. I'm not very familiar with that.
Because they take up the whole lanes, both sides. That's an illegal turn. It shouldn't be allowed in the city of Dallas.
Okay, so from that point of view, we are providing a 18-foot wide turn lane, and so our design will ensure that the bus remains within that 18-foot wide turn lane. If you look at the aerial view that is shown right now, the bus, when it turns from Lake June Road, will remain within the 18-foot wide turn. Any traffic, any northbound traffic that is stopped within that left turn lane, 11-foot wide left turn lane and 11-foot wide right turn lane, will not need to move back. Currently, yes, what you're saying is correct. When the bus enters, because of the radius of this street and because of the width of the street, they end up entering these other lanes probably. But our design is providing this 18-foot wide turn lane for them to remain within that lane so that cars do not need to move back.
Understood, but they have busted the water lines there several times. I still think it's just a big problem that can be fixed from coming from the south to the north. That would help things. That would help things right now.
The bus will.
I know you got a fix for it, but you know what? I just know what I've seen in the last several years. I'm sure Barbara and my other neighbors can say they've seen the same.
As part of this project, we are going to be installing curbs and gutter on both sides. So currently there are no curbs, so it's very easy for a vehicle to just exit the paved portion of the road and enter, regular ground. When we provide a curb, that makes it very difficult for a car to just, enter, go above 6 inches above the street.
Another suggestion is we can ask transportation to look into moving the stop bar, maybe back from the intersection to help with that situation for the time being.
I see some of the same sentiments being echoed by Barbara in the comments and in agreement with Mr. Ferguson. And at this point, being that we're still in the design phase, we'll look at options to help address the issues that you guys are coming up with. Yes. But as we're moving forward, we'll have to go on and move to other commenters or questions. Luis, did you want to say your piece for any Spanish speakers that we have in the audience?
Yes. En este momento me gustaría preguntar si hay alguien en la audiencia de que habla español que quisiera hacer una pregunta.
Okay, thank you, Luis. Tanya, you had unmuted for a second. Did you want to address those comments from earlier?
No, I was just going to state what you said, which is we will take the comments into consideration as we progress the design and be sure to look into the concerns that you all are stating about the bus in the turn in.
And being that we've got about 5 minutes out before the end of the meeting, I'm not seeing any other chat comments or hands being raised at the moment. But for our folks who are on conference call, I see one from, here we go, from Brunei.
Yes, it's Renee.
Renee, sorry, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have a question for as far as the homeowners that have their properties that are closer to Cheyenne, the corner lots. How far are these sidewalks and the roads going to be to their property line?
The sidewalks will remain within the public right of way. They will not be entering private property. So we have a 60-foot right of way, and the pavement portion and the sidewalks will remain within the public right of way.
Thank you for that question. Once again, for our folks on conference line numbers, we had already heard from Mr. Ferguson, but Rhonda, and I see Barbara's already made some comments in the chat, but Rhonda, if you would like to ask a question, you could go ahead and unmute and ask away with *6. And if not, we'll go ahead and close out the meeting. But before we do, Councilmember Resendez, did you have any last words for folks on the call, or just to close this out?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for all the information, and thank everybody that participated on the call and for your questions. Muchas gracias a ustedes por la información y a toda la gente que escuchó durante toda esta reunión. Gracias por las preguntas. I'm happy to hear people involved. You know, I also want to put some things in people's minds. For example, making sure that and people talked about these things like traffic calming measures, because I know a lot of cars speed up and down that street. Quería también dejarles saber a la gente que empiecen a pensar en las cosas que podemos reducir la velocidad de los vehículos en esa calle, porque entiendo que muchos carros manejan bien recio ahí en la Cheyenne. Y también, and also maybe the potential for bike lanes and Wi-Fi, light poles, those types of things. Y también infraestructura, por ejemplo, como para bicicletas, también acceso al internet en las luces. Deberíamos de pensar en todas estas cosas. But that's really all I had to say. Thank you all once again. Es todo lo que quería decir. Muchas gracias de nuevo. Y'all have a good night. Buenas noches.
Thank you, Council Member. And with that, we will go ahead and close out this meeting. And once again, as a follow-up, we will be posting the recording of the meeting on the Neighborhood Next Door once it's available. So keep an eye out for that within the coming weeks. And we'll also try to make the recording as well as the presentation available online for community members so that they can view that and provide their input. And once again, the deadline to provide input online or via mail is by May 6th. So coming up pretty soon. So thank you, everyone. And with that, we will close it out. Have a good evening.